Good morning and welcome to Cut the Kibble. So I haven't had my coffee yet and I'm going to make a recipe with a slow cooker. I like to do it when I get up in the morning and let it cook for 4 hours and then, it's set it and forget it. I could sit down, have my coffee and get on Facebook and chat with you guys. So the star of the show this morning is my Ninja 3-in-1 slow cooker. I've had this for a few years. They have a 4-in-1 now, and they have other products. I love Ninja products, but I particularly love this 3-in-1 slow cooker because if I'm gonna ground some beef, like last night I made chili. I had 3 pounds of ground turkey. I could put it on the stovetop setting in a slow cooker and then turn it to slow cook after it cooks. So I'm not using a frying pan to cook up my meat, because I'm all about easy cleaning and easy cooking. So I love this, and I don't do a lot of cooking with slow cooking for the dogs, but today I am. And it just depends on my mood or what I'm doing, but it really depends on the type of protein I'm using. Today I'm going to be using this top round steak, and I really don't know how to cook that in a frying pan. It's a tough meat, and a slow cooker is going to make it nice and tender. Now, when choosing meat, of course, we know that we need to use meat that is low in fat, and you can tell there's hardly any marbling on this. So that's low in fat. And I paid $10.41 for basically 2 pounds of meat. So this is what I'm going to be using, and because of that, I'm going to put it in my slow cooker so it gets nice and tender. So the first thing I'm going to do, I like to always line the slow cooker with some vegetables. I don't want the meat sitting at the bottom and, sticks or whatever. I have a sweet potato. I'm going to leave the skin on, and I'm going to cut it, and it's going to be like a little rack in the slow cooker for my meat to sit on. So this is chop and drop. Put that in there. And the next thing I'm going to put in is a beet. Now, I've always told you that when choosing vegetables, you want to choose low starchy vegetables with low sugar. Beets have high sugar, but I'm not using a lot. I'm using the smallest one that I could get. I got some fresh beets here. I'll roast them for myself later. But, I like to add variety in the dog's food. Now, keep in mind, this has happened to me personally as a human and also to my female dog. We eat beets and our pee turns red. Some people, I've heard, their poop turns red, but for me and for Bella, our pee turns red. And I freaked the first time I saw that with Bella, because I thought, oh my God, she has a UTI, blood in her urine. But it was like a very pink red, and I thought, and I did some research, and beets can do that. But beets are very good for you, but you don't want to give a lot to the dog. But today, we're going to give her some. And I have here my Rachel Ray. This is my compost bin. Well, when I put my compost in, we have been composting for as long as we've been married, which has been too long, just joking. We've been married for 34 years. So anyway, I'm going to put these beets in here. And now I think I'll put the meat on top. I see, what am I going to do next? I think I'll do the asparagus. Asparagus are actually a prebiotic, not a probiotic, but a prebiotic. They're very, very good. I'm going to keep the rubber band on, and I'm going to give a cut where the stalks are not tender. Put that in my compost. I always save my rubber bands. And I'm going to cut this one more time. And I'm going to put that asparagus in. And just for good measure, I bought this kale for myself. I'm making chicken soup today, but I'm going to put a little bit in, just a little bit. Now with kale, this year, kale has entered into the top dirty dozen for pesticides. So you have to make sure that you're using organic kale, because it really had a lot of pesticides in it. It's a shame that we have to worry about all this stuff. And I don't do everything organic. I can't afford that. But I do organic kale. I do organic blueberries. And I actually, for me, I've started doing organic chicken. I could buy that at Costco, and it's not that much more expensive. All right, so that's enough of the greens. And now I'm going to put in a half a cup of frozen blueberries. Blueberries are very good for antioxidants. And now something that I have not done with you is shiitake mushrooms, okay? Now shiitake mushrooms are very healthy, especially for a senior dog. It keeps the circulation, the blood flowing, and for inflammation. Now, look, I'm not a vet, and you're probably saying, where is this lady finding this information from? I do follow a few vets that I highly respect, Dr. Judy Morgan and Dr. Karen Becker, who are really into home cooking and raw feeding. And so I'm getting this information from them. Like, for instance, I bought these beets, okay? And I thought to myself, wow, can I put these beets greens in for the dog? And I don't know. I'm not a trained nutritionalist, and I don't want to do something that's going to harm my dog. So as much as this is tempting, I'm not going to put it in because I don't know. You know, I'm very careful about greens because I know that certain greens like spinach can cause stones for dogs. My dogs have never had stones, but I am very careful what I put in to a dog's diet. One time, many years ago, I did okra. And gosh, both of my dogs did not do well with that. And I was like, what the heck? And I did some research, and some dogs can't digest the seeds, even though I had put it through the food processor. So I had like a 2 weeks worth of food. And I gave it to a friend down the street. She had a pet pig, and the pig loved it. And no, I don't live in the country. I don't know how she had a pet pig. But anyway, I'm going to do a little bit mushrooms, not much. I don't know, maybe 2 hands full. Maybe I'll put the rest in my chicken soup today. Today's a good day in Virginia to have chicken soup. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to put in, and I haven't done this with you guys, is lentils. Now, don't say, oh, Paula, don't do that. There's a DCM, dogs are dying of heart issues, and then people think it's from beans. Look, they don't know what it is, and I do not use a lot of beans. I don't use beans a lot, and if I do, it's a little bit. All these new pet foods that are out there, they're not using grains, so instead of grains, they're doing so many beans, peas isolate, pea flours. It's too much loading of beans. I'm just going to use like a 1/4 cup. And I used to do lentils. I used to do lentils several years ago. You know, I rotate. I don't always offer it. And the one thing I found out about the lentils, I need to put this in these, is that when the dog poops, you know, it's all about the poop. But when the dog poops, I'm Italian, that's why it's all about the poop. The poop it still is formed, but it's like airy. It's kind of fluffy. So it's not soft. I mean, it is soft, but it's fluffy with air. And I was like, oh, so that's from the lentils. I've given my dogs lentils. Well, I've been cooking now for 12 years, so I've given my dogs lentils on and off. And why am I doing this? I want a little filler. Okay. Bella cannot have pasta. Pasta makes her lick, and she gets all red. Oatmeal, I find that she gets itchy with that. I would never do rice. So I sometimes do pinto beans or garbanzo beans or lentils. I don't do quinoa because she doesn't digest that, even though I cook it extra because you're supposed to cook grains extra for dogs. So I'm just putting a little bit in here for a filler. It's not much, okay? All right, the next thing I'm gonna put in, remember yesterday, if you saw my video, I bought some turmeric and some ginger, and I put it through the food processor and put in ice cube trays. And I'm gonna put in 1 thing of turmeric and 1 thing of fresh ginger. Now, before I put the meat in, I'm gonna put some water in because it only really needs a little water, but I'm concerned about the lentils. I want those to cook. So I'm gonna put some water in. I'm gonna get a spoon. The only thing about this Ninja cooker, you have to use nylon tools. Now, I cooked ribs once for my husband and myself, and the bottom got all scratched up. All I could think of it was from the bones. And I was mad. I called up Ninja, and they sent me a new bottom. But it does scratch easily, so you have to be careful. So I put a little bit of water in here, maybe 3/4 cup, and of course, with the slow cooking, it's going to produce steam, and the lentils will cook within 4 hours. So now I'm going to cut this meat up, cut this into the meat. I'm not really going to cut it up. Well, maybe I will. Oh, I like to wear my gloves, but I don't have gloves with me now. So I always like to wear gloves when I handle meat. I don't know what it is. So I have these kitchen scissors. I love these kitchen scissors. They come apart. You can wash them. And just like I do when I cook my liver, I'm going to cut this just a little bit. Okay? Because when after this is all done, I'm going to put it through the food processor. And even though the meat's going to be tender, it's still going to be whole. And I want to make sure that the meat gets totally processed. So there's a little fat on here. I'm not going to put the fat in. I'm very careful. I know fat is not good for dogs. They can get pancreatitis. We talked about that once many years ago. My Snow got pancreatitis. That's when I was dumb and didn't know about stuff. But now I'm smart. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to tell you that there's other ingredients that are going to go into this recipe, but I'm not going to put them in now because they're cooked. And so why should I cook them again? So one of them is the beef liver. I'm using 4%. One of them is sardines. Normally I use a can of sardines. And the flaxseed and pumpkin seed and what else? The the calcium. So once this is all cooked, can you see that? Once it's all cooked in 4 hours, I will put this in the food processor along with the other stuff I just talked about and, you know, process it and pre-measure 1/2 cup and put in the freezer to flash freeze. And this will be tonight's dinner for Bella. So that's it. I'm going to put it in here, set it, and forget it. So thank you for joining me for Cut the Kibble. Please follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube channel, give me suggestions of what you want to hear and questions. I'd like to hear what you use as well. Let's all get together to join a community that wants our pets to not only live longer, but live stronger, live healthy by having healthy food. Thank you again, and we'll see you in 4 hours.